US President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump had their first face-off in the 2024 election cycle. The two rivals did not even shake hands as they took their positions at podiums just feet apart in a studio with no live audience. They tried to reshape the political narrative as they battled over economic issues, foreign policy and international crisis, the country's immigration crisis and the state of American democracy as well. The candidates kicked off the debate by slamming each other's records on the economy, immigration, foreign policy and abortion rights. The stakes were high as both the men come face to face for the first time in almost 4 years to try and convince the voters that they should back them on the 5th of November. Now, this is the second time Joe Biden, a Democrat, and Donald Trump, a Republican, challenged each other for the White House after Trump lost in 2020. Now, analysts were not sure if the debate would make a substantiative difference in the election result. Presidential debates typically have limited influence on the voters, but Joe Biden and Donald Trump are in a tight race and the election will likely be decided by just thousands of votes in a handful of swing states.
Former President Trump came in with clear talking points: immigration, economy, attacking President Biden, talking about the state of American politics, and he hammered those points home every time, regardless of what the question was.
Sleepy Joe Biden running against crazy Donald Trump, two out-of-touch older white guys, one of them frothing at the mouth who kind of fell asleep halfway through, the other one who showed up asleep, waking up for some moments and then kind of falling asleep again. And then at the end of the day, comparing their golf handicaps. I think that's a metaphor for the public's larger concern about the race, which is two out-of-touch white guys who have, each of them have their liability. Each of them obviously think they're best for the job.
Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden was given a warm welcome by the supporters in North Carolina after participating in a presidential debate in Atlanta on Thursday. Biden and his wife Jill shook hands with supporters before leaving the airport. The US president is in North Carolina for a campaign event before traveling to New York City for the grand opening of Stonewall National Monument Visitor Center for Pride Month. Iranians are voting for a new president on Friday following Ibrahim Raisi's death in a helicopter crash. 4 candidates are in the fray. They were vetted by a Guardian Council, which oversees elections in the country. A runoff between the top 2 contenders will be held if no candidate is able to get over 50% of the votes. While the poll is unlikely to bring a major shift in Islamic Republic's policies, the outcome could influence the succession to Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. In France, Prime Minister Gabriel Attal on Thursday accused his main challenger for the top job, Jordan Bardella, of tolerating racist remarks in the ranks of his far-right campaign, of tolerating racist remarks in the ranks during a recent heated television debate before the start of parliamentary elections. Bardella, whose far-right party is seen leading in the polls, could emerge as the dominant political power in the country's parliamentary elections. Far-right National Rally leader Le Pen accused Macron of humiliating people who does not vote to him.
Emmanuel Macron is being excessive. He's still president of the Republic and he will still be tomorrow. Therefore, he is president of all French people. I think the way in which he seeks to somehow insult those who aren't voting for him does not fit the idea that I have of the position of a president of the Republic who must in all circumstances remain the president of all French people, including those who aren't voting for his campaign.
Custom officials in Rao Islands have arrested 7 suspects allegedly involved in importing illegal goods worth 11.5 billion Indonesian rupiah in current year. Most of the confiscated goods were tobacco products without excise tax labels and illegal alcoholic beverages. The US Supreme Court granted permission for emergency abortions in case of life-threatening medical situations for women in Idaho on Thursday. The decision lifted a block or stay placed on a lower court ruling in January. The Supreme Court of the US blocked Purdue Pharmacy's bankruptcy settlement on Thursday for their roles in the deadly opioid epidemic. The company is accused of illegal and misleading marketing in OxyContin, a pain medication in market since 1996. Now, European leaders agreed to nominate Ursula von der Leyen for a second term as the European Commission President. At a summit in Brussels, the bloc also picked former Portuguese Premier Antonio Costa as the future chair of the European Council meetings and selected Estonian Prime Minister Kaja Kallas. And now let's cut live to Ministry of External Affairs media briefing.
And is visibly driven by vote bank considerations and a prescriptive outlook. We therefore reject it. The exercise itself is a mix of imputations, misrepresentations, selective usage of facts, reliance on biased sources and a one-sided projection of issues. This extends even to the depiction of our constitutional provisions and duly enacted laws of India. It has selectively picked incidents to advance a preconceived narrative as well. In some cases, the very validity of laws and regulations are questioned by the report, as are the right of legislatures to enact them. The report also appears to challenge the integrity of certain legal judgments given by Indian courts. The report has also targeted regulations that monitor misuse of financial flows into India, suggesting that the burden of compliance is unreasonable. It seeks to question the need for such measures. On its own part, the United States has even more stringent laws and regulations and would surely not prescribe such solutions for itself. Human rights and respect for diversity have been and remain a legitimate subject of discussion between India and the United States. In 2023, India has officially taken up numerous cases in the US of hate crimes, racial attacks on Indian nationals and other minorities, vandalization and targeting of places of worship, violence and mistreatment by law enforcement authorities, as well as the according of political space to advocates of extremism and terrorism abroad. However, such dialogue should not become a license for foreign interference in other polities. So that was my statement. I now open the floor for questions. Please, Siddhant.
Hi, sir. Siddhant from Beyond. So this is in relationship to the same report. We have seen the comments by the US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken saying there is rise of hate crime in India. Your reaction? And sir, I have a second question as well. We have also seen remarks by the Chief Minister of the Eastern State of West Bengal over the Teesta development, India sending technical team. If you can give what's the official reaction of the Ministry of External Affairs?
Okay. Madhu?
सर मधुरेंद्र भाई न्यूज़ नेशन से ब्लिंकन का जो बयान है सर उस पर मैं आपका रिप्लाई क्रिस्प में चाहूँगा कि जिस तरह से भारत की घटनाओं को उन्होंने संकलित करके इस तरह की टिप्पणी की है और उस पर भारत का जवाब क्या है और ख़ास तौर पे जो आपने अपने स्टेटमेंट पे कहा कि इस तरह की तमाम घटनाएं अमेरिका में लगातार हो रही हैं लेकिन उस पर उनकी आंखें नहीं खुलती। भारत की घटनाओं को उन्होंने वोट बैंक पॉलिटिक्स के लिए इस्तेमाल किया है। तो क्या वाकई ये सिर्फ वोट बैंक पॉलिटिक्स है या पर्टिकुलरली इंडिया को टारगेट किया जा रहा है? दूसरा सवाल मेरा सर रसिया को लेकर है, जहां पर भारत के लोग गए, वहां की सेना में शामिल हुए, यूक्रेन वॉर में मारे गए। इस घटना के बाद जो आप लोगों ने संज्ञान लिया, कितने लोग वापस भारत आए हैं, उसका कोई डाटा हमें मिल सकता?
This is Yeshi Seri from the New Indian Express. Is Prime Minister Modi going to Moscow? If yes, when?
Ayushi?
Sir, Ayushi Ward from NI. Can we also have a confirmation of who India would be representing at the SCO summit in Astana?
प्रणय।
सर प्रणय उपाध्याय जी न्यूज से। लेबनान को लेकर एक एडवाइजरी भारत सरकार की तरफ से जारी की गई थी। लेबनान में कितने भारतीय हैं और अभी वहां पर क्या स्थिति है? क्या हमने कितने लोगों से संपर्क किया है वहां पर?
So I'm Huma Siddiqui from the Financial Express. There's violence still going on in Kenya. So any further advisory for the Indians, and has anybody asked to be repatriated from there?
Okay. So first, coming to your question, Siddhant, on the US State Department report, I just made a statement. I would refer you to look at the statement. You will get your comments, get answers for your comments. It's a very detailed statement that we've read out. So that is where I would like you to refer to. On the question of the letter of the Chief Minister that you mentioned, we've seen some reports in that regard too. For us, at least, the facts do not bear out the assertions that have been made. The Ganga Water Treaty of 1996 is due for renewal in 2026, and for carrying out that exercise, an internal review of this treaty is being undertaken, and for that an internal committee has been set up. This internal committee has all stakeholders who are part of this in that committee, including the West Bengal government. The West Bengal government has been attending these meetings regularly. In fact, on 5th of April 2024, a communication was received from the West Bengal government indicating its drinking water and industrial water requirements for inclusion in the treaty beyond 2026. The committee has submitted its final report, and which is presently under examination by the relevant ministry. So that is where it is, your question regarding the letter from West Bengal government. मधु, आपका सवाल यूएस स्टेट डिपार्टमेंट के जो अभी रिपोर्ट उन्होंने जारी किया है उस पर था। उस पर हमने अपनी टिप्पणी दे दी है, तो मैं आपसे आग्रह करूंगा कि उसका जो हिंदी रूपांतर भी आप लोग को इस सभा के बाद आप लोग को मिल जाएगा, कि उस हमारी टिप्पणी को देखें जो हम लोगों ने कहा है। रशिया के मामले में वहाँ पर पहले भी मैंने बताया था कि करीबन 10 लोगों को वहाँ से लाया गया है छुड़ाकर, और लोग घर वापस आ गए हैं। करीबन 20 से 25 लोगों ने हमको हमारे एम्बेसी को वहाँ उन्होंने कांटेक्ट किया था कि उनको वहाँ से छुड़ाया जाए। इस पर हम लोग लगातार जोर बनाए हुए हैं। रशियन अथॉरिटीज़ के साथ बातचीत हमारी चल रही है, और हमारा भरपूर प्रयास है कि जो भी लोग वहाँ पर हैं उसको हम लोग वहाँ से निकल पाएंगे जल्दी से जल्दी। Yeshi, your question regarding Russia. We have a very well-established bilateral summit arrangement with the Russian Federation. We have this bilateral summit meeting between the Prime Minister of India and the President of Russian Federation. 21 such meetings have happened so far. We are also preparing to hold the next summit. We will share the dates with you as soon as we can. Ayushi, your question regarding SCO participation. The Indian delegation at SCO will be led by External Affairs Minister. This SCO summit is to be held between 3rd and 4th of July. So External Affairs Minister will be leading our delegation there. Pranay, लेबनान को लेके आपका सवाल, उस पे हमारे जो दूतावास है बेरूट में, उन्होंने एक एडवाइजरी जारी किया है। वहाँ पर हमारे काफ़ी भारतीय नागरिक रहते हैं, काम करते हैं, प्रोफेशनल्स हैं। मुझे मेरा जो इन्फॉर्मेशन है उसके हिसाब से करीबन 2 से 3 हज़ार लोग हमारे लोग हैं, और हम लोग की एम्बेसी जो है उनसे लगातार संपर्क बनाए हुए हैं। और इस प्रकार हमने ट्रैवल एडवाइजरी नहीं इशू किया है, हमने सिर्फ इतना बताया है कि आप लोग एम्बेसी से संपर्क बनाए रखें, ताकि इस प्रकार का कोई भी अगर घटना हो तो उसमें फिर कार्रवाई करने में हम लोग को बहुत जल्दी से जल्दी कार्रवाई कर सकते हैं. Uma, your question regarding Kenya. There also we issued an advisory. There was a protest linked to a local legislation. No Indian has been caught in the violence. Nobody has been impacted. That advisory still holds good. We have told our nationals to be cautious, take care of their movements or how they go about in the city. But my understanding is that situation is also coming back, coming back to normal. It's improving and things are in order as of now. Can we take more questions? Pia.
Pia with the print. Sir, information is coming in that Deputy NSA Vikram Mishri will be taking over as Foreign Secretary. Who will be replacing him as Deputy NSA? And if you could also confirm whether Foreign Secretary Vinay Quatra will be debuted in DC as India's ambassador to the US. Thank you.
Siddhant.
Hello sir, I'm Siddhant from CNN News 18. Sir, yesterday EM Jaishankar posted a letter, a reply that he has given to Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu M.K. Stalin. And in the third paragraph of his reply, he says, and I quote, "You are also aware that the genesis of the issue goes back to 1974, following an understanding between the union government and the state government," unquote. I would like you to give a context to this particular paragraph in the EM's letter, in a reply that he has given to Chief Minister. And what is the status of Kachativu issue? Are we going to take it up during the bilateral meeting with Sri Lanka? Thank you.
Kalol.
Sir, in view of the advisory, this is Kalol from the Hindu, in view of the advisory issued by the Indian Embassy in Beirut, I want to ask you, the situation that the embassy has talked about is because of obviously Israeli attacks on Lebanon. So does India consider the attacks by Israel on Lebanon a violation of Lebanon's sovereignty?
Abhishek.
Sir, this is Abhishek from CNN News 18. My question is regarding one Indian national, Satnam Singh, having been dead in Italy in a very horrible condition. What has been our, the way we have raised the situation, and also there are thousands of Indian workers who are working in dairy and farming sector in Italy. So have you also raised the concern for them so that such incidents doesn't happen in future?
Thank you.
Hi sir, Akshay Dongre from DDI India. So this question is regards to the mutual evaluation report of India and Kuwait, the FATF report, which discussed and adopted the joint FATF mutual evaluation report of India, which assessed the effectiveness of India's measures to combat money laundering, terrorist financing and proliferation financing. So any comments regards to that?
Prakash.
सर मैं जयप्रकाश हूँ दैनिक जागरण से. चीन बॉर्डर को लेकर जो समस्या है सर, उस पे कोई प्रगति है क्या, या और इसके साथ ही अभी पिछले दिनों एम्बेसडर जो है चीन के नए एम्बेसडरों ने विदेश मंत्री से मुलाकात की थी, क्या बता सकते हैं क्या बातें हुई उस पर?
Can you come back? First, PI, your question regarding appointments. I have yet to see official order on the issues that you mentioned, on the appointments that you mentioned. So, as and when we have the official appointments, you will come to know about it. मैंने नहीं देखा है अभी, आप लोग को पहले पता चल जाता है आजकल. Siddhant, your question regarding the letter that External Affairs Minister wrote to the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu. The letter is about fishermen who have been caught in Sri Lanka. You specifically asked about a particular provision that has been mentioned. That is because there is a historical context to this issue, and that is what has been highlighted in the letter by External Affairs Minister. Sorry. So, External Affairs Minister recently visited to Sri Lanka, and he had extensive engagement with the leadership there, and they talked about all issues of mutual concern. Kalol, regarding Lebanon, our embassy in Beirut has issued an advisory. That advisory is not a travel advisory, restricting Indians to travel to Beirut. It is an advisory for Indian nationals who are based in Lebanon, so that they stay in touch with the embassy if there is an evolving situation there, and to be, as a matter of abundant precaution, this particular advisory has been issued so that the embassy is enabled, if there is a requirement to get in touch with Indian nationals, it can do so at the shortest possible time. Sorry?
My question was regarding the issue of Lebanese sovereignty. Does Israeli actions violate Lebanese sovereignty? That's the question.
But all nations are sovereign nations, correct? So that is where it is. You are talking of a situation which has not yet to develop. As and when the situation will develop, we will have a look at it. But the question right now is, all nations in the world are sovereign nations. They have they are well within their right to do whatever they want as a sovereign entity. Abhishek, your question regarding Mr. Satnam Singh, an Indian worker who passed away in very tragic circumstances in north of Italy. We have taken up this matter. You would have seen the leadership in Italy has spoken about it. After we've taken up the matter with the foreign ministry and local authorities, the gentleman who was his employer, who was supposed to provide medical care, he has been arrested and investigation goes on. We condemn such treatment, and we also call for more human treatment of workers in the country. We are in touch with the family of Mr. Satnam Singh, and we are providing all possible assistance in the matter. A friend from DDI India. Aapka naam kya hai? Akshay. Akshay, you would have seen a press release issued by PIB very few hours back on FATF. I understand the meeting still continues even as we speak in Singapore. The FATF press release will give you more details, but what I understand is that it has given good outcome to India, astounding outcome to India. And it's a significant achievement in that sense. India has also been placed in regular follow-up category, which is a distinction shared by only 4 other G20 countries. So it's a positive outcome for India as far as this FATF mutual evaluation is concerned. जयप्रकाश जी, आपका सवाल चीन को लेके है. चीन को लेके जो हमारी बातचीत चलती है, उस पर हम लगातार आपको जो बातचीत हम दोनों देशों के बीच में चलती है, हम लोगों ने आपको उस पर आपके संज्ञान में रखा है. इस माध्यम से और जो प्रेस विज्ञप्ति हम जारी करते हैं उसके माध्यम से आगे जब हमारी बातचीत होगी तो उस पर भी हम प्रकाश डालेंगे, ताकि आपको भली भांति क्या चल रहा है उससे अवगत कराया जाए. जहाँ तक चीनी राजदूत के मिलने के बाद विदेश मंत्री से रहा, जब बाहर से राजदूत यहाँ आते हैं तो एज अ मैटर ऑफ कर्टसी उनको कर्टसी कॉल दिया जाता है. ये बड़ा एक नॉर्मल प्रैक्टिस है. चीन के राजदूत आके उन्होंने कॉल ऑन किया विदेश मंत्री पर. उसके अलावा न्यूजीलैंड के हाई कमिश्नर भी थे, कुवैत के भी थे, कई एक देशों के लोग के राजदूत वहाँ आके एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर के साथ उनकी मुलाकात हुई. You have a question there? Yeah. Srinjoy.
So this is Divya from Indian Express. We've read reports about 10 Indian fishermen being charged with the death of a Sri Lankan Navy sailor. So how is India planning to take it up?
Elena?
Good afternoon, Elena, TASS News Agency. Randhir, can you please share some some main topics of this upcoming Russian-Indian summit, and like what will be the agenda of it? Thank you.
Enjoy.
Sir, after his visit to Russia, Prime Minister on the 10th will be in Vienna. And this is the first time an Indian Prime Minister is going to Austria for a visit like this. It appears that startups is the major thing on the agenda. Is there anything else you can share with us about the visit?
Okay. Oh. Ayan?
This is Anansha Mitra. Sir, this is regarding the MOUs signed between India and Bangladesh on the railway connectivity. The first question is, India will be accessing Bangladesh territory, so will there be any convenience fee or some monetary matters involved, or is this completely reciprocatory? And will any paramilitary or security forces deployed when the trains will be passing by, those territories? And also, if you kindly share if there's any sort of joint production of railway hardware between India and Bangladesh. Thank you, sir.
सुरेश?
मैं सचिन बुधौलिया हूँ UNI से। सर, मेरा सवाल ये है कि नेपाल में प्रधानमंत्री प्रचंड ने अभी लिम्पियाधुरा और काला पानी वाला जो बॉर्डर एरिया है वो उस इशू को दोबारा से उठाया है, तो क्या हमारी अभी नेपाल से उस बॉर्डर इशू को लेकर के कोई बातचीत अभी चल रही है कोई?
Pia?
Pia with the Prince. So just a clarification on a sentence in the NA statement issued yesterday about the Sri Lanka debt restructuring agreement. It says India offered unprecedented financial support of $4 billion to Sri Lanka. This is the $4 billion in terms of food and financial assistance that we've extended to them over the last couple of years, right? Because the outstanding debt is only about 1.3 billion. Just a clarification. Thank you.
So Divya, on the question of fishermen, we have always attached the highest importance to the welfare of our fishermen who get caught abroad, and we have tried our best to bring them back. On these 10 fishermen, also our High Commission is aware of the matter, we are aware of the matter, and we have taken up this issue with the Sri Lankan side. Hopefully we'll see how best to take it forward. Elena, regarding your visit, the question that you asked, I've told you as and when we have an update on the visit, we'll provide to you. As of now, both countries are working to have a summit level meeting. The dates for that, presently we don't have. We will share with you as and when we can, the soonest possible. Enjoy again the visit that you mentioned. The visit will be announced at an appropriate time, including with the date that we have. Once we do that, then we'll be able to give you more details of the structure, the agenda, etc. Ayan, a question regarding railway connectivity. When we had this special briefing by Foreign Secretary post the visit of Prime Minister of Bangladesh, he talked about all the MOUs and connectivity projects that we've undertaken. That also includes railway connectivity. Both countries are working together to enhance connectivity to a higher level, physical, digital, in several ways, so that we can strengthen our trade connections, people-to-people connections, and several other projects that we are doing together, and bring the relationship to a higher level. As far as your questions on fees, on security aspects, these are very technical questions. These will be addressed as and when they come up for discussion in the technical committee and between the two governments. Sachin, आपका सवाल लिम्पियाधुरा और इन सभी को लेके रहा। देखिए, पहले भी हम लोगों ने कहा है कि ये सब जो बातें हैं, बॉर्डर की बातें, जो हम लोगों के बीच में, नेपाल और भारत के बीच में जो द्विपक्षीय बातचीत होती है और जो प्लेटफॉर्म बना हुआ है इन सब चीज़ों को डिस्कस करने के लिए, उसके तहत किया जाता है। और कुछ दिन पहले भी हमने इस पर एक बयान हम लोगों ने दिया था कि हमारी क्या सोच है। तो मैं आपसे कहूँगा कि उसमें विदेश मंत्री ने भी बातचीत कही थी कुछ दिन पहले, तो मैं आपका ध्यान उस बयान पर लाना चाहूँगा। Here you asked a very technical question. $4 billion is our assistance. What is the kind component of it? What is the financial component of it? I will let you know. I don't have an update straight away. But in terms of assistance, it is significant assistance. We always remain committed to strengthening our neighbor. You would have seen the outcome of the MOU that Government of Sri Lanka signed with OCC, the Creditors Council or Committee, of which India is also one of the co-chairs along with France and Japan. And we remain steadfast in our commitment to support stabilization programs, support economic prosperity in Sri Lanka. Enjoy. Oh, sorry. Sudhi.
Sir, Sudhi Ranjan from Bloomberg, sir. Sir, recently there was a briefing by Kurt Campbell, and during the briefing, a couple of things that came out importantly was that US seeking institutionalized reforms in agencies that they believe are responsible for the thwarted murder attempt of a US national. And also US continues to seek, criminal prosecution, it seems, because they're saying accountability. What has been the discussions between India and US, and what kind of institutional reforms is the US asking for?
Okay. और भी सवाल है? Sudhi, Abhishek.
Sir, my question is regarding a recent comment made by Pakistan Foreign Minister, where he said that the two nations cannot be on the perpetual hostilities. So, what is your comment on that?
Sir, South China Sea has seen a lot of aggressive actions by the Chinese. We have seen show of force by the Chinese, something that resembled Galwan as well. What's India's position on the ongoing situation in South China Sea?
So, Sudhi, first here to your question, Santosh.
हाँ सर, मैं संतोष ठाकुर नवारत से। मेरा सवाल सर ये है कि आपने अभी जो यूएस को लेकर प्रतिक्रिया दी है बहुत ही कड़े शब्द और तीव्रता से, तो इसके क्या वजह सर कि इस तरह की वो रिपोर्ट निकालते हैं, और क्या हमारे समन्वय की कमी है? जब हम रणनीतिक साझेदार हैं तो क्या इस तरह की रिपोर्ट जब वो तैयार करते हैं तो कंसिडर नहीं करते कि हमारी भारत के साथ किस तरह की मित्रता या हमारे समन्वय में कमी रहती है कि इस तरह की रिपोर्ट्स आती रहती है? थैंक यू।
ओके, सुदीप, क्वेश्चन देयर।
सर, मैं सपना साधना चैनल से। सर, मेरा सवाल यह है, पिछले दिनों कश्मीर में कुछ आतंकी घटनाएं हुई थी जिसमें कुछ निर्दोष लोग मारे गए थे। माना जा रहा था कि ये पाकिस्तान की तरफ से हुई है, तो पाकिस्तान से इस बारे में कुछ बातचीत हो रही है? क्या भारत कुछ सख्ती बरतने के लिए सोच रहा है?
ओके, थैंक यू। सो Sudhi, first to your question, as you know that we have constituted a high-level committee on the matter that you referred. The high-level committee is looking into those aspects. As and when the findings come out, we will take appropriate action in that direction. Abhishek, your question regarding Pak Foreign Minister. We have always maintained that good neighborly relations, or we have always sought good neighborly relations free from cross-border terrorism as far as Pakistan is concerned. Siddhant, your question regarding South China Sea, we have on several occasions also clarified our position as to how we look at developments in that part of the world. We have always emphasized on adherence to international law, respect for rules-based order, and to resolution of disputes in a peaceful manner. Other than that, we also believe that there should not be any incident or approach that destabilizes the region. So that is how we would look at your question or answer your question in South China Sea, the developments that are happening in South China Sea. We oppose destabilizing or unilateral actions that seek to change the status quo by force or coercion as well. And we, of course, we underline the need to for peaceful settlement of disputes. संतोष, आपका सवाल उस रिपोर्ट को लेके है। उस रिपोर्ट में जब हमने बयान दिया तो उसमें हमने कहा है कि अमेरिका के साथ हमारी बातचीत चलती रहती है मानव अधिकार को लेके, उसके अलावा जो हमारी विविधताएं हैं उसको लेके काफ़ी सारी बातचीत चलती रहती है और ये बातचीत आगे भी चलती रहेगी। और बातचीत के दरमियान बातचीत के माध्यम से ही एक दूसरे को हम बेहतर समझ सकते हैं। जहाँ तक इस रिपोर्ट पर टिप्पणी की बात है उस पर हमने हमारा स्टेटमेंट हमने दिया है और मैं चाहूँगा कि आप उस स्टेटमेंट को तीखी नज़र से पढ़ें। Sapna, your question regarding terror attacks, these are very serious security concerns for us, and our agencies, our authorities are taking action as appropriate in the matter. Can we do two last questions, then Pranay and Kalol?
सर, चीन के ग्वांगझाओ में एक भारतीय कारोबारी का पहले अपहरण होता है और उसके बाद उसकी हत्या हो जाती है, तो इस मामले को लेके क्या भारत सरकार ने कोई मामला, हमारी एम्बेसी ने वहां टेकअप किया है? क्या मामला हुआ है?
So, the External Affairs Minister visited the United Arab Emirates. I think that's his first foreign visit after he took office for the second time. So, could you please give us the substantive points that were discussed during the visit? And also, did the issue of the bilateral rights, the aviation sector that the United Arab Emirates is very keen about, did this issue also feature during the talks?
Okay. Kalol, thank you. Pranay, देखिए, जो भारतीय समुदाय बाहर में रह रहे हैं, हमारे जो भारत के लोग बाहर में रह रहे हैं, उनका हित का सुरक्षा करना हमारे लिए एक बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी है जिसको हम बहुत सीरियसली लेते हैं। तो कोई भी इस प्रकार की घटना हो जहां पर हमारे लोग फंसे हुए हों या किसी कारण से वहां उनको दुख हो रहा हो, उसको हम तुरंत उस मसले को हम टेकअप करते हैं ताकि तुरंत उस पर कार्रवाई हो और जल्द से जल्द हमारे लोग हैं या तो रिहा हों या वहाँ से वापस देश लौटें या जो मुश्किल में है उससे वो बाहर आएँ। तो ग्वांगझू का जो आपने बताया है, इस मसले पे एग्जैक्ट जो केस है, इस पे क्या अपडेट है, मैं आपको दूंगा। मेरे पास अभी तत्काल में एक अपडेट नहीं है, लेकिन जैसा आपने बताया, हमने बताया कि इन सभी मामले को हम पूरे मुस्तैदी के साथ, चुस्ती के साथ उठाते हैं जब भी कोई बात होती है भारतीय समुदाय को लेके। Kalol, External Affairs Minister, visited UAE. That was the second visit after his reappointment. The first visit was to Sri Lanka. The second visit happened on, I think, last Sunday. He spoke to he had meetings with his counterpart, the foreign minister. He also participated in yoga event at the Louvre, Abu Dhabi Museum. He visited the Hindu temple, BAPS Hindu temple as well. The Prime Minister had visited UAE in February. That was an occasion, and this particular visit was an occasion to review several of the arrangements, announcements that were made to take them forward. Several new projects were initiated when Prime Minister had gone, including digital connectivity, RuPay arrangement between, fintech arrangement between UAE and India. So all these matters were discussed when the Foreign Minister traveled to UAE, Abu Dhabi last. And the fact that he went there, it was the second visit of his, after his reappointment, goes on to show the kind of importance we attach to our relationship with the United Arab Emirates. So with that, we come to the closure of this press engagement. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal addressed the media and responded on the US State Department's 2023 Religious Freedom Report on India and said that this is a one-sided projection of facts and driven by vote bank politics. The report appears to challenge the integrity of certain legal judgments by the Indian courts. The spokesperson also said that the government is in touch with the Indians who are in Russia to fight in the war, and measures are also being taken to bring them back to India. Further to this, the Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson said that 3rd and 4th of July will be the days when the SCO summit will happen, and the Indian delegation will be led by Dr. S. Jaishankar. And he also touched upon other international issues which were questioned by the media of different length and breadth, and addressed all of them in the weekly media presser. Moving on this current bulletin, speaking to reporters after the summit, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said on Friday that the European Council's proposals was a great mistake and that it is a disrespect against the Europeans.
I think that the proposal formulated by the Conservatives, Socialist and Liberal parties was a mistake in its merit and method. In its merit, because it was not even vaguely anticipated by a discussion on what the mandate should be for those who hold these posts following elections in which European citizens clearly asked for a new and different line for the European Union.
Now, European Union also signed a security agreement with Ukraine and agreed to strengthen bloc's defense priorities for the next 5 years. The security deal underlines European Union's support to Kyiv with ongoing conflict with Russia in the region. The agreement lays out the European Union's commitments to help Ukraine in 9 areas of security policy, including arms deliveries, military training, defense industry cooperation and demining. The leaders reiterated their pledge to support Ukraine as long as it takes. Now, South Korea's military on Friday released a video to show North Korea's missile exploding in the flight. According to the military, the video showed a North Korean missile abnormally spiraling early in flight and exploding, a rare publicizing of surveillance footage to dismiss the North's claim of a successful test. While North Korean state media had said that Pyongyang successfully conducted an important test on Wednesday aimed at developing missiles able to deploy multiple warheads. Time to take a short break here on DD India Live, but coming up on the other side, peace in Taiwan's trade benefits whole world, says Taiwan President Lai Ching-te. And for a first in India, inclusion of Indian sovereign bonds in JP Morgan Index to help deepen the Indian bond market.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts. We demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India Live with me, Deepika. Now, an update from Indonesia. 103 Taiwanese nationals were arrested in Indonesia on cybercrime allegations. Bali Immigration Director Safa Muhammad Godam said that the authorities would soon deport the Taiwan passport holders after arresting them in a sting at a villa in the Tabanan district of Bali, as they were accused of misusing their visas and residence permits and are suspected of possible cybercrimes. Godam also added that 103 will be deported soon. Moving on, Taiwan President Lai Ching-te spoke to trainee soldiers at a base in the central Taiwanese city of Taichung on Friday. The Taiwanese president, in a statement, stressed that conflict in Taiwan Strait would ultimately affect world peace and security. This comes after China threatened to impose the death penalty in extreme cases for Thai Heart Taiwan independence activists on the 21st of June.
我们今天所做的努力
The efforts we are making today are all for the peace and stability of the Taiwan Strait, for Taiwan's security and our democratic free system and continued economic development so that Taiwan's progress and development can further spur global progress and development. Taiwan Strait benefits global peace.
世界的进步跟发展。
In an era of increased tension and growing competition between China and the United States and its allies, the U.S. Pacific Fleet is hosting Rim of the Pacific, which is the world's largest international maritime exercise in Hawaii. Held every other year, Rim of the Pacific this year brings together the armed forces of 29 countries for 5 weeks of training with the goal of strengthening multilateral relations and enhancing preparedness to promote a free and open Indo-Pacific. The exercise centers around combat and contingency training on land, in the air and in sea with 150 aircraft, 40 surface ships, 3 submarines and more than 25,000 personnel conducting amphibious landings, urban combat training, anti-submarine warfare, ship sinking exercises as well as cyber and space operations. Now, the Kaituar Falls, that is world's tallest single-drop waterfall at an astounding 741 feet, which is 5 times the height of Niagara Falls, is located in Guyana's verdant rainforest. As you descend and approach the falls, the awe-inspiring view of powerful cascade and the invigorating mist that envelopes that you will captivate your senses. DD India's Taposh Bhattacharya reports.
We are starting this journey for Kaituar Falls, and this is in Guyana. Guyana has a part of the Amazon forest also, so we will be going up there, checking out the Amazon forest and the Kaituar Falls. This is the single largest single drop fall in the world. So we'll be giving you a sneak peek of exactly what it is.
They're going to head to the Ogle Airport with Jags Aviation. They're going to hop on that flight. 40 minutes in, we get to Kaituar, and they're going to see the most spectacular flight. World's largest single drop waterfalls. And let me tell you something. It's rainy season, so Kaituar is in all its glory.
So we have landed in the Kaituar National Park. This is a small airstrip which has all the facilities for the small aircraft, and Kaituar National Park is part of the Guyana. Guyana has a bit of Amazon rainforest, and Amazon rainforest generally, we see more than 60% in Brazil, but Guyana also has a bit of that. Now we will take a short tour of the Kaituar National Park and find out exactly why it is so famous.
Very big plant that you're looking at behind you, which is in front of you, is called the giant tank bromeliad. It grows over 20 feet tall and pulls up to 3 to 5 gallons of water in the leaves standing upright. Okay, ooh. And it's also the home to the golden rocket frog, which is endemic to these plants. This little plant that you're looking at just right here is called the Disonju. It's a carnivorous plant.
Carnivorous.
Yeah, it secretes enzymes and traps them with the little small tentacles on the little leaves, right?
Jenkin, Kaituar waterfall is well known all over the world. Tell us more about this. I hold it.
Well, Kaituar is the world single waterfalls, and you can only find it here in Guyana, in the Putaro Seperoni area, Janet Kaituar National Park. And the water, color of the water, get from tan vegetation and sediment
Also the minerals.
You don't find any single drop waterfall in the world that has this width and this height, this sheer height of 741 feet.
741 feet?
Yes. So
and what is the width of this?
It's roughly 300 feet in width.
Right.
Yes, and it has like close to 10.5 million gallons of water flowing in the peak season right now per minute.
Indigenous tribe in Guyana are there from this
Well, particularly from Guyana, we have 9 tribes, or 9 nations. Yes.
All right, so that's Mr. Washington giving us a brief description about this particular waterfall. This is one of the largest single drop waterfall in the world, and bigger than the Niagara Falls that we all know about. With that was this is Thomas Bhattacharya for GD India.
Now, after persistent scorching heat, India's national capital received heavy rain accompanied by thunderstorms and lightning on Friday. The rainfall has caused significant disruptions on major roads and underpasses as several areas in and around the capital are waterlogged, posing challenges for the commuters. However, Delhi Traffic Police are advising the commuters to stay informed and plan their travel routes in advance to avoid heavily waterlogged areas. The IMD has now forecasted that this weather pattern will continue over the next few days. Now, one person died and several others injured after a section of roof at Terminal 1 of New Delhi's Indira Gandhi International Airport collapsed due to heavy downpour on Friday. Several cars were hit by parts of the roof that collapsed on them at T1. The terminal has been completely evacuated. India's Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu has announced a thorough inspection of the structure at the airport and a compensation of 20 lakh rupees to the family of the deceased and 3 lakh rupees to the insured people.
Has also been announced 20 lakh for the deceased and also for the injured 3 lakhs. From 2 o'clock, whatever routes are being operated from T1 have been diverted to T2 and T3. So necessary arrangements are being made at T2 and T3 so that the passengers wouldn't face any inconvenience as of such.
Now, the Modi government hopes that the space sector in the country will be worth $10 billion in the next 5 years. DD India correspondent Nandita Dagar spoke to a startup in space sector which is offering homegrown solutions to satellite navigation in India using Indian satellites.
How India is making strides in space and satellites. The space industries are also flourishing. Along with these booming market, we have a lot of homegrown startup made in India, making in India industries which are part of the supply chain of ISRO. We are joined by Colonel Velan, who is a Kargil veteran. He's retired from the army, but he's the chief technical officer of Elena Geo. Sir, what is it that Elena Geo does and how is it contributing to India's homegrown, make in India, Atmanirbharta in space?
We are a company that is deep into navigation technology. Indian system called as Navik is what we are working on. We have every type of hardware and software that is required for anyone in the country to adopt Navik, our own Indian homegrown solution.
Yes.
Technologies like GPS, American systems and the Russian things do not give adequate coverage over India. That's the main thing what Indian system overcomes, and the accuracy of it. At a short term, if we see, we can replace all import which are being done from foreign-made equipment coming to India. We can replace all this equipment. For example, this is a handheld navigator. We are all used to mobile-based, GPS-based, Google Map-based things.
And Apple Maps.
Yeah, all that. But here this uses Navik.
Okay.
And it's
so
also
this is made in India
100%
navigator.
Yes.
Made in India navigator using our own homegrown Navik set of satellites.
Yes. See this dot that's coming there, it is 1 meter accuracy. This gives you 10 centimeter accuracy in XY. 10 centimeter, I can put it on a line of 10 centimeter itself and the drone can
do you mount this on a drone?
Yes, this on the drone already navigation is there which is GPS based.
Okay.
You just remove it and plug this thing inside.
So that would become Navik based.
Navik enabled, easy to upgrade.
Now, the inclusion of India's sovereign or government bonds in JP Morgan's Emerging Markets Bond Index comes as a major boost to the country's economy. Well, a sovereign bond is a debt security issued by a national government to raise money for its operation. The JP Morgan Emerging Market Bond Index is the most widely referenced index for emerging market bonds. And the inclusion will be spread over 10 months, which is until the 31st of March 2025. Further, it will help India in managing its external finances and also boost foreign exchange reserves. It will also allow the government to diversify their sources of borrowing as well. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it right now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.